When you retire, you may get a chance to go to football heaven. This is football heaven.
Hello and welcome to The Mission. I'm your host, Jameer Howardson, and like Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk said, this is football heaven, and guys, tickets are on sale for this year's enshrinement. Please visit profootballhof.com for all your enshrinement information. We're going to celebrate the excellence of two classes this year, the 2020 class and the 2021 class. Well, like I said, welcome to The Mission, and today we're so excited for our next guest because The Mission today is all about inspiration, dedication, and motivation. Our guest was featured on ESPN's Sunday Countdown during Thanksgiving. And as we all know, Thanksgiving is not only a time where you fill your belly up, but it's a time to give back. And it's a time to think and say, thank you for all the blessings that have been bestowed upon me. And thank you for life. Thank you, God, so much. And our guest today is not only the author, the founder, and the creator of My Best Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait for you to meet author of My Best Day, Mr. Mark Keys. Mr. Keys, welcome to The Mission, sir.
Thank you, Jameer. How are you?
I am doing so great. You know, when I got a chance to see your feature on ESPN Sunday Countdown during Thanksgiving, it just really extremely moved me. And I can't wait to learn more about your story. I know, they talked a little bit about it, but you're here on a mission. Our viewers, our listeners, they don't know Mark Keys, but they're going to learn today. They're going to get to know. So before we talk about these great works, because I know you have 10 books, but these two in particular are focused and centered around Pro Football Hall of Fame legends as well as Pro Football Hall of Famers. I wanted to learn all about what inspired this work, but first and foremost, tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, in 1991, I worked as a boat rigger, and I put together boats and everything. And one day I just hurt my back, and it was so devastating. I couldn't move. Had to go to the hospital. And long story short, after physical therapy for a year, they finally went and had surgery on me. I think it was like a 10, 11-hour surgery. It was supposed to be like a 6, 7, but they kept finding disc problems. And, because I was a pretty good athlete in my day. And so I just kept doing that. That was my story for a couple of years. I just would do physical therapy. I go for walks. I observe people. I'd go to a lot of practices when I got invited. Depends on how I was feeling, but Lori and I would always like to go to practices and golf tournaments and just stuff like that and watch. We really enjoyed talking with people and meeting people. And then one day on Balboa Island, it's a little city inside of Newport Beach, I was walking and I was sitting on the bench and I just noticed all the people going by, and I just wonder if they're having a good day or bad day. And I just thought, well, let's write people. And I went home that same afternoon and I wrote Joey Bishop, the actor, and I asked him what his best day was. 2 days later, he wrote me back and told me it was his marriage of 56 years. And it just started going on, and I've been doing it since 1992, basically.
Wow. Just one day of people watching. When you were, because I love the people watch. I love when I have to travel, and I just love sitting in the airport because you see people and you're like, I'm never going to see these people ever again. Or I may, I don't know. But it's just amazing. What clicked in you to want to just find out? Did you notice somebody was having a bad day, or did you notice somebody was having a good day? What was it?
You could actually tell these people, they were, a lot of them looked retired, older people. Some were kind of subdued, just kind of walking, kind of thinking about something. And other people I'd say hi, and they'd big smile, hi. And I kind of just by their facial expressions, I could tell, they're having a good day. And I'm not kidding you, Jameer, it just clicked. I literally walked home, which was probably a mile away. Took me about an hour. And I went around the island, went home, and I just started writing these letters. And ever since, I've been handwriting letters. I don't use the cell phone. Only a couple times people will call me for their best day, but I just started writing people. And it's funny, like when we travel, I'd have to go to the hospital to get an injection because my pain was so bad. And like one time I'm walking and this gentleman's walking right by me and he's got this little smirk on his face because he knows I know who it is. And Mr. Herschel Walker's walking by me. And I'm like, okay, that guy's having a good day, you know? And he knew I knew who he was. And so I'd go home and I'd write to him. He never responded, but he did. He sent me a couple autographed football cards. And that's what happens. If they don't give me a best day, they send me an autographed card or a good luck letter or love what I'm doing. And it's just inspired me to keep doing this, Jameer. It's amazing how many great athletes, football players have written me back or called me or befriended me, like Ivory Sully, who is just a fantastic human being, great football player. And he's there for me. And he's become a friend the last couple of years. And I don't know what it is, something that always clicks when I meet these people. And it's just been unbelievable for me, especially for 30 years of over 40 surgeries and stuff like that. You know, here's the Arnold Palmer one that Arnold let me put the cover, his staff let me do it after he passed. But that was another story I wanted to tell you. He came up and saw me at the Toshiba in Newport, gave me a hug. He said, don't ever quit what you're doing. And then I met Kobe twice. He loved my idea. He said, don't ever stop doing this and we'll work with you because I like the inspirational stories and yours is amazing. A couple months later, my daughter sees him in Disneyland. He's standing there waiting for his family to get off the ride and Megan notices him. Nobody else does. And he starts talking. He goes, hey, oh yeah, it's your dad's project. And Megan goes, Mr. Bryant, what's your best day? Because I've asked him numerous times, a couple. And he goes, okay, let's do it now. And he gives me his best day. It was his last game where he scored 60.
Right.
And he's tearing up. Megan's got it. Megan gets it for me. She goes, Dad, you're not going to believe whose best day. And then my other daughter, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, comes into the restaurant where she worked. And that 2 days later, Kareem's having a book signing. And I got a picture of him and Kareem, Megan, Agent Kareem. And he goes, well, I can't sign it. And the wife or the girlfriend says, can't sign it. And he signs it anyways, because it was so special. But Kobe was so amazing to my daughter, and to have that tragedy was awful. So I'm going to send these to the Lakers. Oh, and I'm doing a Lakers book too. So I know I'm going all over the place.
Haven't you met Mark?
Yeah, I met Wilt Chamberlain. He was huge. Bill Sharman was, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson wrote me back.
Well, we are friends with Deacon.
And I was friends with Deacon Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lori told me about that. Yo, boy.
Oh, and Bruce Arians invited Paige and I, because she went to University of Arizona when he was a coach. We got invited to go to the practice on Saturday. He has us there on the walk-through practice. He's treating me like I'm his son, and I'm meeting Carson, Frosty Rucker, Larry Fitzgerald gave me a hug. Tyrann Mathieu was just the kindest guy I could ever met. Talk about a football knowledge. And all these guys were coming up to me, talking to me. But Bruce Arians said, anything you want. All of a sudden, he sends a football to me with all these guys' signatures, you know? And he still remembers me. Just like Ron Rivera, I sent him a book, and I'd call him when he was on Carolina. I'd always call him after a game, and he'd always respond, thanks, Mark. So it's just unbelievable. It's just because I love this. I get opened up. It's just amazing, Jameer.
You shared your story with me over the phone, and 29 years. Unfortunately, you've been disabled, but 48 surgeries, and you've been diagnosed with cancer and MRSA. And to see your face and to see you radiant and to see your smile, is it safe to say that this hard work keeps you going?
Yes, my family and the book, definitely. I can't wait to write. So like I'm watching a movie or a football game and I'll say, oh, I got to write the coach, or Lori, who's the assistant coach? And then we'll look up and Lori will go on the computer and look it up. because she's the computer person, and she'll say, "Oh, this is the offensive coordinator," and then I'll write to him. And it doesn't have to be the main guy. It doesn't have to be the head coach. It could be
Right.
the assistant, the quarterback's coach or anybody. There's somebody on that team that's making that team go, and I want to hear their story. And that's who I just keep getting, all these great people. It's just amazing.
I'm getting goosebumps talking to you because I'm thinking of the story of head coach, Super Bowl champion Bruce Arians, who just won the Super Bowl. And I was blessed and honored to work with him. And when he wrote about Chuck Pagano at the Cleveland Browns, and just to know how tight-knit that group was. And, it's a brotherhood. They kind of follow each other. They were at the Browns and they go to the Indianapolis Colts. And to hear his story and to know what Coach Pagano was going through and to keep that light on. And they knew that when that light was turned off, that he was back to work. And stick with him throughout his battle of going through cancer treatment, Chuck Pagano. But that was an amazing story. Before we dive in and talk about some of your favorite stories in the works, when you started this out, did you ever think it would grow to this level, Mark?
No. And Jameer, what's great is I've gotten 10 books, and we got at least 6 books just waiting to be finished. 6 more. And then
so you have 10 already. You have 10 already that's in print.
Right.
So you're going to get 6 more.
Probably by end of summer. We'll have 6 more. Yeah.
And while we're there, where could people buy these? Where could people purchase these at?
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
Yes.
Amazon.com. My Best Day Pro Football. And then you have other versions too. And you just don't have like Pro Football. You have a bunch.
Yeah. I just finished My Best Day Baseball, which is just unbelievable. I got so many amazing. Stan Musial called me. Mr. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, it's unbelievable. Brooks Robinson, they all wrote me back, or I met them. Like Ernie Banks, I met at the Frank Sinatra golf tournament. He was like my best friend for the whole tournament. He loved Lori and I, and he would just go, there he is. And I just go, hi, Mr. Banks. No, it's Ernie, Mark. And he was just such a great guy. And to this day, I miss him because he was so nice to me. And Fred Lynn, another great, him and his wife, Natalie, they've always been there for us with just a question answered or anything. But the baseball book was just something I loved because I played baseball when I was a little kid. And like everyone, you just follow all these great athletes. And the baseball has some wonderful, unbelievable athletes. Harmon Killebrew and, people like that. It was just, I couldn't believe all these people wrote me back. And then Lori found this page of all the oldest baseball players, 80 years and up. So we had 80 to like 98, and there was 500 gentlemen, and I wrote every one of them, and I think about 150 of them wrote me back or called me. So I got all their best days, and I got 90-year-old baseball players in my new book, and it's just they're so great best days, Jameer. You're just gonna I'm not kidding, you'll teary-eyed because they're so vivid. It's like you're there. And it was such a great talking to these guys and sending them their books and stuff. It is so rewarding for me to do this because I've always loved sports. I was one of those guys who would buy the football posters of Leroy Kelly and put them up in my room when I was 8 or 9. And I still have Leroy Kelly poster. It's a little mangled, but I still have him, and that's what I did. And to this day, Lori lets me put up all my stuff, and it's just amazing. I have right above me is 250 signed footballs.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the picture right here, everybody.
Yeah.
This is the picture right here where Mark is sitting right underneath him. Those 100, you said 150?
250.
250. Wow.
Yeah, they go all the way to the corner, and then Lori I did it one day when I felt good enough to go up. I put 1 or 2, and then Lori just goes, okay. And then she's so wonderful both her and my daughter Megan are so wonderful for letting me put my hobby, my life up here. And one of my close friends, dear friend, Steve Foley, went to high school with me. He would come over here and he'd sit in one of our chairs and he'd go, this is just so warm and great to be in here. It's just like seeing your life, Mark, what you've gone through, because it is my life. It's got Lou Alcindor picture at Power Memorial. I got his autograph on this huge picture. Jim Taylor, Dick Butkus, Lem Barney. It's just unbelievable. And all these people I have their phone numbers now too. And it's just.
Who was the one or two stories that just totally knocked you like off your feet?
On football alone, on pro football?
On whichever, football, baseball, you name it, whatever.
Well, getting a phone call from Stan Musial was unbelievable, because after he gave me his best day, he said, I'm going to send you a jersey. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, I'll sign a jersey. And I said, he goes, how would you like it, just Stan Musial? And I said, no, I always like it personal. And he said, well, then you can't resell it. And I go, I would never want to resell the Stan Musial jersey. It's a gift. I don't sell gifts. And I said, make it for Mark and girls, for my wife and 2 daughters. And so that's how I do it, because that's how the girls want it. And so he sent it to me. It's unbelievable. But like Dick Butkus, spending the day with Mr. Butkus, people don't realize what a sense of humor he has. It is so funny. Like, he'll be telling me a joke. People will come up to him and say, Mr. Butkus, can I have your autograph? And he'll say, excuse me, ma'am, I'm talking to my friend Mark. And I'm like, he's told me my friend Dick Butkus. And I'm like, oh, I get so excited, because here's a 6'4" giant of a man, great guy, great football player. And he's taking the time with me, and he's telling me a joke. And that just, and now he sees me. I ran into him at a car wash here in Newport Beach. And he goes, hey, it's the Best Day guy. And I go, that's great. So, he remembered me. And then we talked for 45 minutes after that.
That's great. That's great.
It's stories like that. But getting a letter from Walter Payton was huge, because he was everybody's favorite running back.
That's right.
He never ran out of bounds. He played hard all the time, and it's just a wonderful man, and to get his letter was great. But all the stories is just like Dick Van Dyke and James Lovell, the astronaut, and Ray Nitschke sending me. It's almost like every letter meant so much to me, because they took the time to write to me, and so on and so forth. But they were just, it's all great. Oh, a good one is Barbie Billingsley, who played the mom in Leave It to Beaver. She's walking Balboa Island. I spotted her, and she goes, how'd you know it was me? And I'm like, well, I knew it was you. She had the pearl necklaces and stuff, and she gave me a big hug, and she gave me her best day. But that was exciting for me, because I knew it. I knew it was her,
That's amazing, Mark. I love your energy. It's so infectious, and blessings to you, man. Blessings to you. It's like, I'm afraid to ask you what your best day is, because your beautiful family is allowing you to have your man cave and do whatever, and you're getting all these great letters. But I do have to ask you, what is your best day?
When I got married to Lori, because I hurt my back. We'd been together for 5 years before that, going on 6 definitely. And I didn't have much money, but the love was so strong there, and I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. And it's been 35 years, and people don't realize how difficult it's been to go through what I've gone through. If you see me walking down the street, you'd say nothing's wrong, and people will say something or make fun of me and say go get a job and stuff, but they don't realize what I've gone through. And I've had to endure that too. And I just put on a smile and do the best I can. But it's hard being on disability. People don't realize when you gain weight, they don't realize it's the medicine or it's something in your condition. And I've had people put me down for that. And I'm like, all I'm doing is trying to live and keep my family happy and do the best I can. I mean, most people with all the stuff I've gone through would literally just give it up, lay on the couch and maybe say that's it, but I can't. I have to get out every day. I have to go for a walk with my wife or my daughter or by myself, because I meet so many people. That's my goal, is to see how many people I can meet in my life, because one person can change your life, and every day somebody changes my life for the better, just who you talk to.
That's amazing. Well, in honor of Women's Month, National Women's Month, we salute your ladies here at the Mission.
Thank you. Thank you
are
so
surrounded
much.
by
I got some
greatness.
great daughters and a great wife. Both my daughters are they're called MJ. My oldest is MJ because of Mark Jr. And Megan, she could be anything she wants. She wants to be an actor, and she just can make me laugh anytime, anywhere. She's just fantastic. I have a blessed life, Jameer. I really do.
That's beautiful. Now, we got to talk football before I let you get out of here, because I see behind you, you have a LA Rams and then you have a San Francisco 49ers helmet. Tell me about those artifacts.
Well, I got the Ram helmet. You know what? I don't even. I got it from NFL auction. So Jack Youngblood was the signature, so I got him. And he's one of the gentlemen I'm having a hard time getting to hold of, because I'm doing a book series too, like all the teams. You know, My Best Day Rams, My Best Day Packers. So I'm working with like Ivory with the Rams. I'm doing all these, so I'm doing that. But the Rams helmet, I've probably got about 100 signatures now on it, and people will see that when I'm walking at like the practice at Irvine, and they're like, want to sell it? Because I got Rosie Greer. I got the late, great John Arnett on it. I got
Rosie Greer on there?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got Rosie's Best Day too. And Rosie I met, and he said, send me my best day when you get it. So, you know, and I sent him his book, and him and his wife just love it. But Rosie Greer, I mean, he's just one of the nicest men I've ever met. And the 49ers, Jerry Rice is on that, Joe Montana. So I'm still working on their best days. But and I met him and I asked him, but you know, sometimes you have to think about it, because you think about how many great days they've had. But It's just, Jameer, I've met so many wonderful people. It's mind-boggling, you know. I met Jim Brown and talked to him, you know. So I'm looking at some helmets up here. Jim Taylor did my forward. He gave me a Green Bay helmet. Bob Lilly, one of his signatures was fading. I wrote to him, and I said, do you mind if I send it back to you, and could you put it in a thicker pen, which I got for him? He said, no problem. I sent it, and he sent it back to me. And I send all the postage and everything, but he took the time to do that. And It's just unbelievable, you know. Jameer, it's just, I love my project. It's never ending. And I love that the people want to do it. And what they write to me before, like they'll say, you're very inspirational and stuff. That's what really touches my heart, because they can feel what I'm going through. You know, they know it's been tough, because they could have gone through the same thing or even more or worse, you know. So I lost my best friend in this house. Lori and I took care of him when my daughters were 3 and 5. He died of cancer, and he asked us to take care of him, even though his parents were alive and stuff.
Right.
But to have a friend say that, that's like, you know, that's really the greatest thing a friend could ask of you. And Lori and I watched him for a year, and he literally died in my arms. You know, his name was Bucko Shaw, great football player, and one of the greatest guys I've ever known. And I miss him every day. But he's one of my inspirations to keep doing this. He told me to keep going, just keep going. You know, so.
What was the response that you received from when you had your feature on the ESPN Sunday Countdown?
Oh, it was huge. I had some friends over, and the guys and the girls, they were all crying. I was all shaken up, because ESPN and Dominique Goodrich did such a wonderful job. It's like your production is just perfect, you know, Jameer. And it's just, so the next day, my mom and I go into a restaurant, the Yard House, which they have all these TVs, and these waitresses are coming up trying to figure out who I am, because my head was on all their TVs the day before. And my mom said, oh, he was on TV yesterday, and they all got free lunch and dessert and everything. And I was a celebrity for a day, you know. Wow. But it was huge. It was huge. And then I have people occasionally come up to me and said, were you the best day guy? And of course I was, you know. So I like that when they say that, you're the best day guy.
That's amazing. Before I
Yeah.
let you go, man, I know you said you played baseball, and I know you're a lover of football, but when you think back to being a part of that team and you think back of the invaluable lessons that you learned from sports, what comes to mind?
Camaraderie. Like I still keep in touch with a lot of my friends on the team, on the basketball team. I love playing. I played all the way till I was 32 when I hurt my back. My vertical jump was over 40 inches at certain time. You know, it just, and I'm standing on the Newport Harbor gym floor that they gave me, where I used to jump playing basketball. I used to jump center a couple times too, and I'm 6'1", and so I'm sitting on the floor. My daughters played volleyball, and they gave it to me because when I asked, and I cut a bunch of pieces out for a lot of my teammates and other players that played years before, and I write on the back, and then I give them to them so they have part of their history where they played on the gym floor. So I try to do that kind of stuff too. And then another thing I like to do is we have a thing in Newport Beach called the Daily Pilot, and when they have the athlete of the week, I'll literally take it out, and I have a friend who's a framer, and he gives me a really good deal when I have extra money, you know, and I try to put some, and I send them to people or give them to these certain people as a gift. So they have a framed article of it. So that's one of my other things that I've probably done 100 over the last 10 years. Like I said, I have to pick and choose when I could do stuff like that, when I have extra money, but I enjoy doing stuff like that. You know, I love giving. I love that feel of helping out with helping people.
Well, you gave me some motivation today, Mark. I can't express enough. And I have to share with you, my best day was 2005 at about 3:00 in the afternoon when my beautiful bouncing baby girl came into the world. And yeah, I can say, you know, marrying my lovely wife and, you know, graduating from school, but it brought a sense of purpose. I knew,
Right.
I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. I just remember I had a moment. I kind of broke down in tears of just overjoy. And I knew that I have to be the best dad ever. I knew.
Right.
I knew. And over the course of these past 15 years, it's been some trying times. It's been some struggles. But I can honestly say that's my mini me. That is my mini me. And she gives me light. She gives me plenty of light. So I really, this conversation. Thank you. This has been amazing.
Thank you, Jameer. This is one of my best days.
This is what, oh man.
Thank you for doing this.
Please go to Amazon.com and get my man, Mark Keys. Support Mr. Keys, My Best Day Project. Trust me, guys, it's beyond a coffee table type of book. You can get so much inspiration from these rich stories from your greatest athletes who have, you know, been on the gridiron and, like you said, in the baseball diamond and so much more within the entertainment industry. Before we let you go, Mark, is there anything else that you like to add?
Well, there's two things. I have a wonderful mom, and my daughters are definitely my best days too. But I also wanted to thank you so much. This is definitely one of my best days being on your show. You just give me so much excitement. I could just, with your energy through your voice, makes me want to go write more letters and do the books, because now every time I get a book out, I'll send you, now I'm going to send you all my books, so you'll be overwhelmed. But I also wanted to tell you that I'm not a rich guy by any man. Check to check, being on permanent disability. That's okay. But my favorite quote is, "You'll never be poor by giving." And I think by helping people and being there for other people, you feel so rewarded and everything. And that's what I do with these books. Sam Haverlack, who played for the Colts back in the days, is a dentist now. He was treasurer of 4th and Goal. It's no longer out there anymore, but I gave him money to help the retired players who are hard on their need assistance. That's what these books are for, especially the pro football and the baseball. I will give money through the books to help somebody who needs something, money to help. That's what I always done, and I've always tried to, and it's been in my system since I was probably 8 years old, when I brought a homeless man to my house to in front of my parents, and my mom and dad are like, what? And I'm like, he needs to eat. And it's been like that it's been like that ever since. I cannot help myself, I just like helping people. And it's just, my wife kind of will shake her head and smile, but she knows that's me. That's why she married me, because I love helping people. Can I tell you a quick story?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm in Harlem with my dad, and we're walking, and we're just coming out of the Apollo. No, we're going into the Apollo, and they just had a double jump, that one routine the girls do. They jump rope.
Double Dutch.
Fast.
Double Dutch. Yeah, double Dutch. Yeah.
So they just went into the Apollo, and so they just were coming out. And, we're all, my dad and I are high-fiving them. They're all coming out. And they're all sweaty, and they're all excited. And so this gentleman goes, do you want to come in and see the Apollo? And I go, yes. So I go in there, and this guy's probably about 6'8", and I'm looking at the stage, and it's high, it's kind of high. And he lifts me up, Jameer, like I was a toy. He just puts me up on the stage, and he said, James Brown was here a week ago. And I'm like, so I'm up on the stage, and I'm feeling so thin, and I'm just standing here, and there's just people cleaning up and running around. It's still about 50 people. And he goes, there's a stone to the right. It's like a lucky stone or gold stone. I can't quite.
Yeah, it's like the bark. It's the bark.
Yeah. And he said, James Brown touched it last, so you want to go touch it? And I went, yes. So I went over there and I touched it. And so he carried me down. So we go to the crosswalk, and we're going to go straight to the bar over to the corner. I don't drink, but my dad wanted to have a beer, and I was going to get a Coke. But across the beer is where Billie Holiday sang. The lounge. I can't. Lennox Lounge.
Lennox Lounge. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going, we're at the stop sign, and there's like 50 of us standing here. And this one homeless black gal comes up to me. There's 50 people. And she's pulling on my shirt, and she goes, can you help me? And my dad goes, you don't have the money to help people. And when my dad wasn't looking, I gave her $20. But Jameer, what I'm saying is, all those people, she came to me.
Wow.
And I was like, not on the outside, I was in there. And right then I just kept thinking, this is a sign for me to always help somebody. And the last thing I want to tell you, I'm in there in my garage sitting here, and I was talking to a retired teacher. These things happen to me all the time. And I'm sitting there riding my life cycle, and all of a sudden a giant hawk flies into my garage. It's 2 feet away from me, and he just stares at me, and he opens his wings. He's in there for like 3 minutes, which is like a lifetime for me and a bird. And he's just in there. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? My neighbor's freaking out because she's going, a hawk just flew in there. It's the middle of the day. There's no mice or anything. There's no cars in there. And that's the kind of stuff that I think God's telling me, you have something, try to, make it. Wow. And that's not to sound corny or,
man.
I just feel that
bro.
way.
You special, man. You cut from a different cloth, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. I'm just so honored that I got a chance to meet you and spend this quality time. Well, Mark, man, you are salt of the earth, and you are definitely cut from a special cloth. And I'm just so honored to be in your presence and to have your great work to take home to share with my family. And thank you so much for your time and joining us right here on The Mission.
Thank you, Jameer. All the best to you and your family.